Today I'm going to be talking about the Super73 Z1. The things to think about before buying it, things to think about when you receive it, and the pros and cons about this machine right here. First thing I want to do is quickly go over the warranty with you, because I feel like there are some things in there that might be a little iffy and might turn people off right away, and I feel it's really important. Everybody needs to know this. First, this bike must be directly purchased from Super73 or an authorized dealer. Number 2, you must be the original owner. Number 3, this bike was used only for its intended purpose. 4, this bike has not been modified in any way. Number 5, this bike needs to be put together either by the bicycle shop or a certified e-bike mechanic. And number 6, this bike needs to be registered on their official website. And remember, it is a 3-month warranty, and if you do need to return this bike to them and get a new one, you have to pay the shipping. If this bike comes totally destroyed in the box, you have to take it up with the shipping company, not them. Things to think about before purchasing this bike. Realize that this bike has a 500 watt motor. If I rode this thing, throttle only, no pedaling, I'd probably be lucky to get 10 miles on it. A 500 isn't too bad. It'll do pretty good. When it comes to hills, it might struggle a bit if you're heavy. But other than that, on flat ground, this thing will zip. I mean, it is governed to only do 20 miles an hour. It sits lower. Now for me, I'm going to show you. I'm 6 foot. I know you can't see my head in the video, but when I sit on it, honestly, these handlebars, my daughter wanted them back. I would have them more forward and it would be a lot better. But this feels like a toy to me. It feels kind of like a kid's toy to me. But I think if you're a smaller female or a smaller, even a 5'6", 5'7", or less, this would be good for you. Another thing to think about is it doesn't have any suspension at all. So if you're going to be taking it on some off-roads, or, I wouldn't normally take an e-bike off-road. I mean, I would go off-road like a gravel, but I wouldn't, if you go out on a real bumpy road, it's going to jar the crap out of you. So even if your tires are at 20 pounds, which is what they suggest, it's still going to ride pretty rough. So this bike it's basic. It's a basic e-bike. It's a entry-level e-bike is exactly what it is. The brakes are mechanical. They're not hydraulic, but they seem to be okay. I'm sure they're not super expensive, but they're going to get the job done. Stylish, obviously it's really stylish. The one thing that really sold my daughters on it was this beautiful seat. But just know, it's hard. It's a hard seat. I think it'll be alright, but it's firm. It's a very firm seat. It's one speed. It is only one speed. It's just a one-gear wonder, kind of like a BMX bike. Right now, I think you can get them for $1,000, and I think that's about right where the value's at on this. I think there are some coupon codes out there on some other videos. And then also make sure that you have both these rubber nuts on the back. There should be 2 of them, 1 on each side. Front doesn't have any. Oh yeah, pedals. You should also have pedals in the box too. They say you need 2 people to lift it out of the box. That would probably be a good idea, but if you got a little bit of strength, you could probably pull. The tires will be on. You won't have to put the tires on. The only thing that you need to bolt on is the handlebars. The handlebars, self-explanatory. Just don't tighten down one side all the way and then do the other side. You want an even gap on the front and the back. Putting the pedals on, that's pretty easy. These pedals show a little bit of resistance. I'm not super impressed with these pedals. To put those on, there's a right and a left. There should be an R on one and an L on other. The right would be this side where your right leg is. One side's going to go clockwise, the other one's going to be counterclockwise, I'm almost certain. Once you get those on, then it's just a matter of getting the brakes adjusted. And that is the trickiest part of all on this bike. First of all, you have this bracket that holds the caliper to the frame. Then you have these 2 Allen head bolts in the back of the caliper, which are for adjustment. And then you also have an Allen head adjustment on the back side of the caliper for when the brakes start to wear and you might have to tighten it back in again. The first thing you're going to want to do is to take this caliper off and make sure the frame is parallel to the rotor. Just eyeball it. You'll be able to tell if it's not. And if it's not, you'll have to use a crescent wrench or something with a rag in there to keep from scratching your paint, of course, and bend them ever so slightly. On this back brake here, there is an adjustment to the frame. I would suggest adjusting it all the way in. You've got the frame aligned, you've got the caliper pushed all the way in. Now's the time to go to the Allen head bolts in the back and just crack them loose. Once you do that, you want to get it lined up in the middle so there's just, you can see light on both sides of the rotor. And you kind of got to spin the wheel a little bit to get it just right. That's where it gets tricky. If you can't see light on both sides of the caliper, then you might need to loosen the adjuster in the back for the rear pad. You might have to loosen that up a little bit. Once you get that done, there still might be a quick. That's because the caliper might be just slightly bent. Find the spot where it's slightly. See, that's the spot right there where it gets close and rubs. Figure out which way it's rubbing. Back it out, find that spot, and just put a little pressure, bend on the caliper with your hand just a little bit. They suggest the tires be aired up from 20 to 25 pounds. But like I said, it's only a 90-day warranty. And I have taken the battery and controller out of this, so I can tell you that there are high quality batteries in it. The cells in this are an NCR 18650PF. It is in a 10S configuration, giving it 36 volts. There are 4 of them in parallel, giving it 11.6 amp hours. Here's a picture of the BMS, and here's the controller if you want to see that. And there you go. You don't have to void your warranty to find out what kind of cells you have in there or what kind of controller you have in there. I was going to put up some conversations that I had with the company about warranting my bike, and I'm not going to put them up. Let's just say at the beginning, they were a little snappy towards me, and they were telling me what was wrong instead of listening to me. Basically, when I told them about the paint flaking off with rust underneath it, they gave me an Amazon link to some touch-up paint. And that right there really put me off, you know. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe learned something from it. If you're looking to buy one of these, it's not too bad. And stay tuned if you want to watch me modify this baby. Maybe we can get it to do 30. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Not with my lard ass on it. Peace!